Hi Year 2, welcome back to your next week of writing. We are going to be sharing writing today and coming up with some ideas as we write the first part of our story, the beginning, opening of our Cinderella story, and we're going to make some slight changes. Now, let me take you to our studio. So, whoops. If you would like to practice our story, please go to the video that's on our our daily document. Today we're going to be using the power of 3 in our writing. So I want you to all get 3 up on your fingers and put them in your pocket because we're going to be using 3, the power of 3 today. Our star words are comma, list, effective. Well done. Now, I would like you to have a look at these 3 sentences. And I want you to think about what they all have in common. Okay, so pause me now, and when you've had a think, tell the person, if there's somebody around, tell them what you notice, and then play me again. Okay, so I hope you've noticed that these 3 sentences, they all have in common that they list things in groups of 3, okay, when they're explaining something. So, every day she was forced to scrub the floors, wash the dishes, and brush her sister's hair. Now, when we're writing in groups of 3, we use a comma, just like we would in a list, to separate the first and the second one. And then we use that conjunction and before the third thing that we're listing. Next one, before lunch they were hungry, comma, noisy and grumpy. When he was by the fire, he was warm, comma, happy and cozy. Now, when we list things in 3s, it sounds more effective, okay? So it really explains to the reader, the person who's reading your story, that this is a very important point and they need to pay attention. So if something's effective, that means it creates more of a reaction. The reader understands it, that it's very important. I want you to have a think about this question. Cinderella was treated badly. I mean, here we have a picture of her being treated badly by her wicked stepmother and ugly stepsisters. So why is it important that we write about this using the power of 3? Why is it important that when we write about the fact that she was treated badly, we use 3 things? Pause me, and when you're ready, play. Okay, so the reason that the reason that we would use things in 3s to explain how Cinderella was treated badly is because we want to really show the reader that this is a big part of the story, okay? And they need to pay attention, and that it's important that she's treated badly because the rest of the story is about how she comes out and actually beats them, doesn't she? She still gets to go to the ball even though they don't allow her and things like that. Now, just like we will in a normal lesson when we're in school, we're going to gather some ideas, but this time it's just going to be you and me, okay? And hopefully sometimes if we've got some of our things shared on Seesaw, we can share more of our things as a class, okay? But right now, I would like you to get some paper. And on that paper, we're going to gather some ideas. And we're going to gather ideas about this first of all. Now, before we go any further, before you pause me and I set you up on this piece of paper where we're going to gather our ideas is going to be very precious. We're going to need this next week as well, okay, when we do our writing. So I want you to keep it safe with the rest of your work so we can use it next week. Now, the first thing we want to think about is who is the character? We know it's Cinderella, but who does Cinderella live with? In our first story, Cinderella lives with her wicked stepmother and ugly stepsisters. Now, what's our special number today? What are we using the power of? 3. When we're doing our writing, we're going to write 3 different things or groups of people that Cinderella lives with. Okay, so I would like you to think of 3 different people that Cinderella lives with, ready for our writing. And when you're ready, press play. Lovely. Now I want to show you my first idea. I think Cinderella lives with a wicked stepfather, so I've slightly changed the fact that she lived with a wicked stepmother to father. Instead of saying ugly stepsisters, I've said mean step-cousins, because some households have lots of different family members in them, and this one I think has some mean step-cousins. And lastly, I think Cinderella lives with her pet cat. Okay, and do you notice here I've used some adjectives: wicked stepfather, mean step-cousins. Now you can also add my ideas to your list too, if you like. The second thing we're going to get some ideas on is, how are they treated badly? How is Cinderella treated in her house, which makes it really important that we know that she's treated badly? Okay, so remember in our first story, she has to scrub the floors, wash the dishes, and brush her sister's hair. Can you think of 3 more things that Cinderella might be forced to do? Pause me and play me when you're ready. Okay, so I've come up with 3 different things as well, which you might want to use also. So I've added an adjective to wash the floors, and I've said she had to wash the filthy floors. The second thing is that I'm saying she has to scrub the doors. And lastly, I think she has to clean the glasses. Okay. We are about to go into writing and sharing our writing text. Now this is a page for you to come back to if you want to have our steps to success. Okay, off we go with our writing. Okay, so I have actually written out my steps on my paper, so that it's really easy for me to remember what I need to be writing about, and I suggest that you do the same, unless you can have it up on a screen in front of you. Now, the first step is to have a fairy tale opening. So as we begin our story of Cinderella, we normally say once upon a time or a long, long time ago, and you can choose which one you like. I'm going to start with once upon a time. Now, beginning my sentence, I need to have a nice capital letter. Once, I don't join my capital letters if I join my handwriting, but the rest of them I can. So once upon, nice, the P will drop right down, a time, nice tall T. And I'm going to have a comma after my once upon a time, because that's my exciting beginning. Once upon a time, there lived. So I'm going to be thinking, I've got to be my second step. I've done my fairy tale opening. Now I need to think, who was the character? My character is still going to be Cinderella. So I want to say, there lived a girl, but I might want to say a beautiful girl. There lived a beautiful girl called Cinderella. So that's going to be my first sentence. Once upon a time, there lived, nice tall letters. I'm going to leave a line between each line of handwriting. A beautiful there we are, beautiful girl called, 2 L's for called, Cinderella. I need a capital letter for Cinderella because it's a proper noun, it's her name. Cinderella. Full stop. And I can dot my I. Cinderella. Now the second thing I want to write is who was the character, and I'm going to think about those ideas I came up for who was she lived with. So that's how I'm going to talk about who she was. So I'm going to say she lived with her wicked stepfather and mean step cousins. So capital letter. She lived with her wicked stepfather. So I'm dropping that line and missing the line. Stepfather. Now, instead of just writing wicked stepfather and mean step cousins, I also wanted to have a third one just to really make that point effective. So I'm going to also say her pet cat, and this is when you can be using those ideas you came up with. She lived with her wicked stepfather, comma, because I'm listing her mean, using the adjective mean there, step cousins. And then instead of using a comma for the third thing, I'm going to join it by saying and. That coordinating conjunction, and her pet cat. Lovely. Full stop to finish my sentence. Now the last thing that I'm going to be writing about is how were they treated badly? How was Cinder treated badly? Again, this is when you can use the ideas you came up with. I said that she was going to wash the filthy floors, scrub the doors, and clean the glasses. So to put that into a sentence, I'm going to explain that every day Cinderella had to do those three things. So I'm going to begin my sentence by saying every day. You might want to say all the time, or every hour of the day, or something like that. You can get creative with how you write this. But I'm going to begin with every day. I'm going to use a comma afterwards because it's that exciting beginning. Every day she washed the floors. Now I wouldn't just say wash the floors because it happened in the past. So I'm going to use washed, the floors, the filthy floors, the filthy comma, okay, because I'm listing, I need that punctuation, a comma. Scrub, now again, I wouldn't just say scrub doors, scrub the doors, scrubbed the doors to make it in the past. Scrubbed the doors. And then what do I use instead of using a comma for the third one? Have a think. Yes, I use and, the coordinating conjunction and. So it's a bit of an angle now. Let's see if I can, there we are. And I'm going to say cleaned the glasses. Now again, I want to use the past tense of cleaned. So I want to say cleaned the glasses. And I end my sentence with a full stop. There we go. That's my writing all done, and that's the beginning of our story. Okay, we can't wait to see what you come up with, and do share it on Seesaw.